Hi everyone, it's Nurse Alexa here with Nurses Notes 101. So I'm going to try something different for these podcasts. I kind of want to talk more about me, my personal life, what got me into nursing, the trials and tribulations that I've had, and going from there, and just talking about what to expect as a new nurse, what to expect as a senior nurse, the challenges that come along with everything, my life, meal prepping, things like that. So, welcome. It seems like we'll be getting to know each other. So, my name is Alexa. I have been a nurse for 8 years. That makes me feel pretty old. I'm 31. I'm from New York. I've always lived here. Um, a little bit about my background. My parents were in fashion for a long time. No one in my family is really medical. I have a cousin who is a physical therapist who has her doctorate, but besides that, I'm the only nurse. I'm the only one who knows really about medications, assessments, and that's what kind of led me to nursing. I believe that my family kind of needed help with learning about those things, and that's what I felt was my calling, that I wanted to be that person that was like the bridge between lay people and the medical field. I love to educate people, so I think that that definitely helped my experience. Um, when I was younger, so I think I was like 18, maybe 20, my aunt got sick with cancer. And I remember one of the last things that she was saying nearing the end is how great the nurses were. And because of this story, it made me want to pay that forward. It made me want to be that person for someone else. And I feel like most nurses do have a story like that in which their family was touched by a healthcare provider. So I always try and be that provider, even in the midst of craziness and when we have difficult patients and difficult situations. So I love to bring that aspect back even after so many years. Not that 8 is a ton, but it can be. I feel like nowadays many people are trying to leave bedside as soon as possible. I'm one of those nurses who will definitely miss bedside. I actually have my last 3 shifts as a bedside nurse coming up next week, and it's been kind of like weighing on me. I'm going to miss that connection. I'm currently accepted into a CRNA program in New York, so I'm super excited to start that, and I'll tell you about those lessons and tribulations as I go through that too. Because I'm moving, like there's a lot going on in my life, but I'm super happy to have this connection with you all, and I want to be like an outlet to you. So, what else? A little bit about like my background here. So I'm actually in my boyfriend's house in like the room downstairs. So that's why this looks like a little masculine. This whole car situation behind me is not mine, but I do like the motivational comments and quotes. So I don't mind that, but I figured it was a good spot to do the video. Um, so going back to nursing, I feel like all of us have some sort of drive from something familial, from a family, from a death in the family, or maybe even your parents were medical and like you wanted to follow in their footsteps, or there was someone you admire who you want to follow in their footsteps. So that is great. We all need something to drive us, and whatever your driving force is, don't forget that. Because things get hard, school gets hard, work gets hard, the people that you are taking care of, the people you work with, everybody has a personality, so you want to make sure that you stay centered and that you remember why you wanted to do this. You don't want to give up on that dream, right? I've I worked at an institution full time for 6 years, and then I started traveling. I did travel for about a year and a half. In between that, I actually was staff again, which I want to admit was very difficult. When you're a staff nurse, I think there's just a lot more expected of you. There's a lot more things that you have to um, divide your time with, and a lot more things for management that need to get done. When you're travel, a lot's expected of you too, and you're not supposed to slack off, but you're not as involved in unit-based activities. So I think that was hard to kind of like get back to that, especially in a place where it wasn't like a home institution for me, so I didn't know everybody. And coming into a new staff position when you didn't get your experience there, not everyone knew my experience. So I think it was definitely hard. Like, I want to almost call it a VBAC, like VBACing back to staff from travel. I think it was a very great thing that I did to go back to staff, just because the reason I went back to staff was to learn a different specialty. So I've been in ICU since the beginning. I've been an ICU nurse since 2016. I went into a critical care residency right off the bat. And the ICU experience that I have is medical ICU and surgical. The surgical encompassed mostly like neurosurgery, general surgery. So we'd get a lot of like bowel procedures, trauma, patient falling, we'd get craniotomies, even like motor vehicle accidents, broken bones, hypotension after that due to hypovolemia, things like that. So the hospital I worked in didn't have a cardiothoracic unit. I really wanted that experience, especially because my end goal was to be a nurse anesthetist, right? So I know a cardiothoracic unit experience as an RN is invaluable. So I'm like, you know what? This is going to be a whirlwind for me, a complete change, but I want to experience that. So I went to a local hospital by where I live, and I applied, and luckily I got in. And I'm so thankful for that opportunity. The staff there was great. I was very happy to be welcomed in that unit, even as a nurse coming with experience. And I think the PAs there were some of the most knowledgeable people that I've ever met. And the surgeons, they were great. They have a whole different scope than what I'm used to, and I loved picking their brains. And that, for me, was like the most invaluable thing, like learning about those procedures. Who knows, like when I'm done with CRNA school, maybe that's something I would like to get into. Like cardiac anesthesia is one of the most challenging, I think, anesthetizing procedures that you can get. So I wanted that experience. I got it. But like I said, it doesn't take away from the fact that it's hard to go back to staff just in general. Like you're used to being more free. So that was a difficult thing, but difficult challenges come with rewards, and I was definitely rewarded from that experience. With that, after I got accepted into my CRNA program that I'm going to now, I did travel again. So I'm doing a local travel contract. I'm doing one in the city, in New York City. And that's been great. I really like travel. I like it in the aspects that you see different things, procedure-wise, you meet different people. Every hospital I've been to kind of has a different culture. But I also, since I love knowledge, I've been a super nerd forever. I love to pick senior nurses' brains. I love to pick physicians' brains if they're willing to talk. So it's been great going different places and seeing different things. Because as much as medicine is objective and there's certain criteria that each patient has to meet, and there's certain, and the way medications work don't change, like pharmacology is strict and clear. Sometimes medical treatment can be subjective between providers, and I think we've all seen that. So it's great to see how different people will order things or maneuver patient care, and I love that. So traveling's been an asset. And it also makes me feel really good to be able to kind of like be a chameleon and go to these different places and fit in with people from different cultures, because nursing's very diverse. And like I loved being in this new facility because it's definitely different from where I started. So That is great to me. Um, yeah, so let's talk a little bit about me. I have a lot of transitions going on lately, and I can't wait to tell you guys about it. Besides that, if you follow my channel, obviously you see I put like a lot of content out there. My main thing and one of my main loves is, as much as I love knowledge, I love to educate. So I put the content out there just as a resource, and I hope you guys like it. But I also want you guys to get to know me and the face behind the content. And here she is. And I'll tell you more about my story. I'll tell you more about things to expect for my channel. I'll go through, like I said before, trials, tribulations, characteristics of yourself that you need, emotional intelligence, which is key in the medical fields, how to communicate with difficult patients, how to communicate with difficult doctors, and how to max out yourself. I think as human beings, like we all get anxiety, right? Like as human beings, we all want to be the best version of ourselves. So I think it's super important to believe in yourself and max it out. Like we only live life once, and that's definitely my motto. If I was to pick a motto, max yourself out, learn as much as you can. I am actually triple certified. I have my CCRN, my trauma certification, which is the TCRN, and I am cardiac medicine certified as well. The most difficult exam I thought was cardiac medicine, just because the unit that I worked in prior to taking that exam, we didn't really get many cardiac patients. We had patients on balloon pumps, and we had them pellet like once in a blue moon, but then they transfer out. So I think I was just, it's not my strongest area of expertise. And that was another reason why I wanted to go to cardiothoracic unit. So I was blessed to be given that opportunity. And yeah, take all your challenges and all the losses as a blessing, because you're going to learn from those experiences. You're going to learn from things that you thought were negatives, and you learn about yourself and you learn how to get better. And it's been great talking to you. Again, I'm Nurse Alexa with Nurses Notes 101, and this is just the beginning.